The day before that, the annual meeting. I guess that's the 69th or 70th. Is that annual meeting? Maybe
we missed a couple of meetings
Okay,
there,
good.
particularly during war times, but that meeting has grown and evolved into a much larger event. It used to pretty much just be a presentation of chamber objectives. With a lot of credit to you and others that have been involved and helped us shape that, we turned that more into a business forum. There will be educational sessions, whether you're a small business looking for answers on healthcare needs, whether you're a tourism business looking to grow your market share. We'll have experts like Bill Geist in to speak, and of course I'm most excited about the keynote presentation from Frank Luntz. Frank's a very well-known political pollster and strategist, and he's going to bring us a message just a few days before the presidential election as to what this might mean for local businesses. Frank is a well-known expert in that field, and some of the insights he'll offer won't be political. It'll rather be how does a business or an individual market themselves to their potential customers. So we think that day will be exciting, and of course we'll cap it off with some very important awards each year. Awards like the Citizen of the Year, the Pioneer of the Year, the Small Business of the Year, and other awards. And we thank you and the Myrtle Beach Herald for having been a part of that.
Being one of many sponsors. You've got a lot of great sponsors that day. I've seen a litany of great sponsors, and it looks like you're getting more sponsors year after year for all the big events.
We're excited, and we think if we do our job right, people walk away having learned something, having heard something they didn't know, and hopefully having helped us recognize some very key individuals and businesses along the Grand Strand.
Well, you know, of course, it may not be a celebration day to highlight when we're thinking about anniversaries, your 5th anniversary, but it is a celebration for a lot of folks here in the area to recognize that 5 years have passed, a lot has been accomplished, and of course, October 30th of 2003, the big announcement was made, and you accepted the offer to be the president and chief executive officer of the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce. Big deal there, Brad. How do you feel about the vision you laid out there on October 30th of 03? And where it's headed and where we're going from here?
Well, Greg, we've accomplished a lot, but we still have so much more to accomplish, so much more to do, and so many more opportunities to capitalize upon. For me, it's truly an honor and a privilege to serve in that role. And I know 5 years ago, if someone would ever have told me you're going to be facing gas prices of $4 a gallon and increased tourism competition and some of the challenging events we've had to deal with, I might have wondered how we're going to get there. But today, I'm even more excited, even more optimistic, and even more committed, not simply for myself, but for those around me. We've assembled a strong staff, a very talented board, and we've enlisted the support of entities and individuals throughout the Grand Strand who are just as committed as we are at seeing this area evolve. And as I think back to the last 5 years, our big challenge and our most important objective was to re-energize and revitalize the Chamber and make sure that it wasn't just serving the needs of its member, but the broader community. And we think today we're doing that, but we still have a lot of things to do. And we're excited about the future. We think we've accomplished some good things in the past, but we're not willing to settle upon that. We're looking forward to where we can help this community grow and evolve into an even more special place to live, to work, and to vacation.
Did you ever imagine 5 years ago, Brad, the opportunity with the presidential debates and the highlight that really put on the area?
You know, we used to talk about, and I certainly did with you and others, about the need to evolve as more of a national destination. If anybody would have told me 5 years ago, do you think you could get a presidential debate, I would have said if we'd have had the debate of the presidents of local chambers, might have been as far as we would have gotten. Never ever thought about that. But I think it's a testament, not to me and certainly not to the chamber exclusively, but to this community. There are a lot of believers in this community. There are a lot of people, small businesses, who refuse to be told no. And I think that was a great example of where the community came together, worked on some very special events. And now that we've had the presidential debates, we're looking at what couldn't we host? World Olympic trials.
Right.
Other presidential or senatorial debates and events. There's plenty of opportunities that the Grand Strand can go after. And I think today, more so than ever before, we're confident and supremely committed that we can extend ourselves into those areas. We may or may not always succeed, and I think one of the challenges for us is we've got to have a few more failures. We've got to be willing to try some things that don't work to make sure that we're truly maximizing all of the opportunities for the area.
That's tremendous, Brad. Well, I know we've only got about 5 minutes, and we think back, we reflect, of course, your service, your tenure here at the Chamber of Commerce prior to becoming the CEO. You were the Chief Financial Officer. You've been there a good while, but what actually brought you to the area, Brad, was entirely different. I believe I never thought about it that way, the only pyramid-shaped restaurant in the Myrtle Beach area.
That's right. What really brought me here was the appeal for a wonderful, family-friendly, community with a great quality of life. And of course I came with the Hard Rock Cafe at the
Right.
time that Broadway at the Beach was booming. So I'm like many of your viewers and readers at the Herald. I came here because of this tourism industry that was growing and evolving. And we came here thinking we probably wouldn't stay long, but we found a home here. And you know, as I think back over the last 13 years, having been in the service industry and then working for the Chamber, my wife working for Blue Cross Blue Shield,
Right.
we couldn't imagine living anywhere else right now. This is home. And so like a lot of people here, we came here not knowing what to expect, not knowing how long we'd be here, but we certainly are committed to staying and watching this area continue to grow and evolve.
Absolutely, Brad. That's 13 years.
13
a little over
years.
13 years, 1995.
That's all right. And you know, now I can say that I can remember back when we didn't close year round, but you know,
Right.
December was just a slow month. And, you know, it's an exciting time to think back to all that's happened since 1995, and certainly with some challenges that lie ahead. But
Right.
I'm convinced that this area is going to continue to grow and evolve, but in ways that we haven't seen yet. Coastal Carolina and all that's going on there, the wonderful school system and healthcare systems that we're developing,
Right.
and the non-tourism businesses that are going to be coming to the area. I think when the economy turns around at the national level, the
Right.
Grand Strand is really going to explode in some very positive ways.
We've only got a couple of minutes, Brad. I'm thinking about those challenges that we can tackle. You mentioned the national economy. When the national economy turns around, what are some of those recognized challenges here that we have the ability to overcome on our own that would not necessarily be the national
Sure.
economy, for instance? What are some of the biggest challenges you see on the radar for, let's say, the next 12 to 18 months that we have the ability to overcome?
Clearly, Greg, one of those areas is infrastructure. We know as we continue to grow, we have got to add the infrastructure, expanding the airport, the roadways, building an interstate, absolutely critical. If we don't solve those, that will simply choke our growth. I think the ongoing balance of tourism versus non-tourism, of fast-paced growth versus balanced growth that pays for itself, is something that requires a delicate balance and a clear, consistent approach of management, not just by the public sector, but by private industry. And then I think also we're not, at this point, I think lacking opportunities of getting our local governments more on the page together. We have seen when local and state government work together how we can solve issues like infrastructure and planning. We've also seen where they don't get along, how that can hold us back. And so I think where we can provide a forum to make sure there's more collaboration, cooperation, and communication between public entities and private entities, that's going to be critical. Communication, collaboration, and making sure we're focused on the infrastructure that'll poise this area for great things to come. If we can do that, the Grand Strand is going to continue to be a special place to play.
Absolutely, Brad. And as we think about accomplishments, we look back the last 5 years, we just got a minute. I'm just thinking about that, your tremendous staff, the tremendous board, so many magnificent volunteers over the last 5 years. Is there any one accomplishment of which you're most proud over the last 5 years, having taken on your position?
Well, survival, first of all.
Right.
You know, following somebody like Ashby Ward, I always remind people that I never forget where I started, and there's a reason why they put his name on the building and my name on the mortgage, and so I'm just there to pay the bills and keep the organization moving forward. You know, with the Chamber, you're never quite sure if those people behind you are following you or chasing you. Sometimes it's a combination of both. But I think the biggest accomplishment that we've made is not any particular event. It can't be measured in dollars and cents. It's by hopefully being more of an organization more likely to bring people together and position the Grand Strand to do things we never thought possible. That's our goal. That's our objective. If we're doing that, then we're a success.
Absolutely, Brad. Of course, you're so focused on the Grand Strand, and it's wonderful. Just real quick about yourself, if you weren't currently the President and Chief Executive Officer here for the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce, Brad, what do you think you'd be doing? I've got to ask that question. It's an old question from 5.5 years ago when before you were the CEO. I remember that. I think I remember your answer. I'll be interested to see if it's still
you know,
in line.
some people think I just want to be in the media, and unfortunately, this is a face made for radio, so nothing like you on the TV set. You know, I really enjoy being in the business world, and certainly that's something important to me. I don't think I'd ever want to be too far away from commerce, but I also enjoy the opportunity of working with people in the educational sector and the public sector. So I don't know that I'm a politician per se, but I like the public arena, and I like the opportunity to work with business people. So something in that regard will always be important to me, and if it can be balanced with the need to be a great husband, a great father, and a good Christian, then for me, that's a winning equation all the way around.
Listen up, Brad. Great way to wrap. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. Very definitely. Stay tuned to a little more Carolina People with the President and CEO of the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce, Brad Dean, coming up next. At Hoopeston High School, Brad played football, baseball, and basketball while taking tough classes at the same time, trigonometry, physics, and chemistry. He made all A's, except for one B. In driver's education, I love that he jokes about it. He jokes that he must have taken a left turn instead of a right. If you've been sitting here with him the last 20 minutes or you spend any time with him in the community, you know he makes a lot of right turns. But if he makes any wrong turns, at least he's learning from it. He's going to make sure it doesn't happen again. Take the time to learn more about Brad and the tremendous Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce online at visitmyrtlebeach.com. From the man that I learned that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. I hope you've enjoyed being with him this morning. Brad Dean, thanks so much for being with us.